Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Time Merchants. Today we're going to talk about parts and why I have over 1,000 parts or listings on eBay at the moment, specifically watch parts, tools, and all sorts of little things. So let's dig in and let's start today with quite a few Rolex parts on the table and a few tools and a few other things that are really important to me and on an everyday basis, and why do we use those and why do I sell those all the time. First of all, let's start with the basics, the box. So the boxes here, you're gonna have some boxes from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and those boxes usually they come in different sizes and shapes, so they're gonna be very interesting to match with different watches from the era. In this case, as you see, I just opened this one. The box and the Sir box is not matching. That's something we had in our drawers. There's another one here, which is a US made box. Some of them are missing. I just wanted to show this one as well. So some of them are missing the internal parts and so on and so forth. So for a lot of people, the collectability of parts and watches is very important to match the complete set. Maybe you lost a part of the box, maybe you have the internals for yourself, and maybe you're just looking to complete your set. That's the basic, the presentation box. Then when you go with dials, bracelets, a clasp, an end link, or anything like that, we have all of those in stock for most common watches that are passing through our hands. And the reason is a lot of those bracelets and anything visual on the watch is going to be easily identifiable as something damaged. So let's go with a dial. For example, this dial from most probably the 50s. This Omega dial is in really good condition. We took it off a watch that was too damaged in terms of the case. So that's one thing. Then we have hands, we have all sorts of crystals as well. For, let's say this is for the 127. So the 127 is for the Rolex 1680 with, we call those the top hats crystals. They're acrylic. When you need them, it's always best to put the original crystal just because it looks best and it fits perfectly for waterproofing, and also in terms of looks. When you know what the real crystal looks like, it's always going to be ideal to have the original part. You don't want to put aftermarket parts. There's a lot of problems with those. They're wrongly made, wrong fit, wrong size most of the time, even in terms of looks. Then if we go with, for example, bezel inserts, from this one is most probably from a 16800, 16610. Here we have Pepsi's, Cokes, anything GMT, anything sub from the 90s, the 80s, and even prior. Those parts are most probably in the past replaced if a watch was serviced quite a few times. And that creates problems of, let's say, period correctness of the piece. So that's why all those parts are needed in case the part is damaged, or in case the part is a replacement part that's much newer than the original part from the time. And a lot of people are asking me, how do you acquire all those parts? Most of those parts are coming from old watchmakers, first of all. So a watchmaker that has been servicing watches for the past 20, 30, 50, 70 years, or let's say we meet the family and the family has all those leftovers of parts. That happens quite a few times a year, sadly. It's a circle of life, so we're giving them a second or third life most probably, and giving the chance to certain watches to go back to their glory. Second of all, you have authorized dealers or authorized service centers that sadly have closed again. 10, 20, 30 years ago, and there's an accumulation of parts. Rolex never took back the parts, or they just held them for future servicing or services for their customers, and that's what happens. You do have people out there that have kept those parts for the future, and that's what I'm trying to do as well. Give a second, third chance to a watch to revive and go back on the market, or simply restore it for certain customers that need such a service. And the basics is having the original parts. A lot of people selling online do the same as me. Again, some parts are fake, some parts are real online. You have to do your due diligence. I see a lot of attempts to kind of fraud people of all types, so you have to be careful. You have to really study the part you really need. Always make sure that it fits your watch. Always know what your reference number is, and do a cross reference either on forums, on groups. You have sometimes certain websites that are designed specifically to look up for parts. You can cross reference those parts with either the movement that you might need or the reference of the watch itself, and normally information is pretty open right there. Otherwise, any tool that I use here is most of the time designed for those watches, or for the brand that I'm using them for. So maybe a Rolex opener, or a Rolex, for example, the press here. Okay, close the crystals and the cases and everything. So those are pretty. So that's the 1002 press. See it here. So this is a vintage tool that was used back in the time. Most probably today it's called something else, but it's gonna do the same job as back in maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. All of that said, I just want to explain why all of those are on eBay and why I'm doing this. The reason is that there's a big demand at the moment for watch parts and for tools. So if I can supply, and if I can, with my connections, help you guys out, you can always reach out to me. If you see something, just give me a call or text me, and I'm gonna be more than glad to help you out with the watch or your parts needs. And that's one of the things we do here at Time Merchants, is to actually supply, source, and basically look for parts that might be needed for your watch. So if you have any more questions, write in the comments or contact us via email or via the website. I'll be more than glad to help you out. So I think that covers a bit the idea. If you have more questions or anything, let me know. I'm going to be more than glad to help you out find what you need. Thank you guys.